Okay, so welcome back everyone to week 2 of the problem solving session. So have you all gone through the video lectures of week 2?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And have you gone through the YouTube videos that we have uploaded? If anyone have missed, you can go through the YouTube videos of the problem solving sessions. Okay, so let's start today's session. So in the week 2, you must have gone through topics covering transfer function, poles and zeros, and Weber stability. Okay, so we'll focus on questions related to these topics so that you all should be able to solve the assignment problems that are uploaded in the course. Okay, so we'll start with our first question. All of you are able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the first question is, the response of system to non-zero initial condition is called.
Free response.
Free response, yes. So for any solution that we have, input output, for example, we are given a transfer function and then we are given an input and we want to solve it to see the solution. So for that we can characterize the response as one driven by the free response plus the forced response. Okay, so free response generally concerns response due to initial condition and the forced response generally concerns the response due to the given external input. Okay, so in this case what we are given, the response of system to non-zero initial condition means there is some initial condition given to the system and therefore the system is responding, so that response is called free response. Okay, and the response of system when there is zero initial condition, what is such response called when there is zero initial condition? And we are applying some external input, that response is called forced response. Okay, it's a very simple question. Now the second question is, there is a second order system whose dynamical system is given as y double dot plus 2y dot equals to ut. Okay, so you have to find out the transfer function of this system. Please try everyone. So how to solve such questions? So we have to find the transfer function. So in order to find the transfer function, we have to convert this to Laplace transform. Okay, so what is the Laplace transform of double derivative of a function?
Ma'am, s square xs, मतलब ys minus
Okay,
s y 0
okay,
minus x dash y 0.
I think it is y dash 0.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the Laplace transform of y double dot. Okay, now while deriving the transfer function, there is one extra condition that we have to take care of. What is that condition? The
Hmm?
response is calculated with zero initial condition. Okay, so if we consider y0 and y dash 0 both are 0, in that case these two terms has no effect. Okay, so the Laplace transform of y double dot will be just s square by s. And what about y dot? It is very simple, y s. Okay, because again we will consider the initial condition to be 0. Now for the overall dynamical system, we can write s square ys plus 2s equals to us. And what is transfer function? It is the Laplace of output divided by Laplace of input with zero initial condition. So zero initial condition we have already put. So next we have to consider Laplace of output divided by Laplace of input. So in the right hand side we will have 1 divided by s square plus 2s. Okay. How many of you were able to get this answer? Okay. Now, if you are able to find out the Laplace transform of this system, can you find out the time response? Impulse response basically. When the input is impulse, what will be the response of this system? So this is the transfer function for this system. Now I'm asking to derive the impulse response for this system.
So now it will be the same now. Laplace transform of impulse function is 1.
Yes. Okay. Time response, I'm asking.
To take inverse Laplace, ma'am.
Yes. So first we know that Laplace transform of impulse is just 1. So us will be 1. Okay. Then ys will be same as the transfer function. And now we have to find the impulse response in time domain. So we have to take inverse Laplace of this. So how to solve it? So this is what we can write it as. We can take s common. So we have 1 by s plus 2. And we can do the partial fraction. What will be the value of a and b?
1 by 2 for A and minus 1 by 2 for B.
Okay, so to find a, so this is just the revision of last week's session also. If anyone have missed how to do the Laplace and inverse Laplace. So how to find a? We have to multiply this function with s. Okay, because we are finding for a, and then put s equals to 0. So a will be 1 by 2. And what will be the value of b? We have to multiply with s plus 2 and solve for s equals to minus 2. So b will be minus 1 by 2. Now we have a and b. So this transfer function can be written as 1 by 2s minus 1 by 2s plus 2. Okay, so what will be the inverse Laplace of this?
1 by
1 by
2.
2 into 1 minus e power minus 2t.
Yes, so it will be 1 by 2, we can take common, 1 minus e to the power minus 2t. Okay, so this is the impulse response for this system. Now can you identify whether this response will be bounded or unbounded as t goes to infinity?
Bounded, ma'am.
So as t goes to infinity,
1 by 2 will be
this term will go to 0, so we have only 1 by 2, and 1 by 2 is bounded or
bounded.
unbounded? It is bounded, so the response will be bounded. Okay,
What is mean by bounded? Mean?
so bounded means something which is not infinity.
Okay.
So this value, if you plot, it will be just for all time. This value, if I am saying, this is 1 by 2. So I'm not plotting here the response, I'm just showing that why this 1 by 2 value I'm calling bounded, because it is not shooting up. It is not shooting up. It is just bounded one. So that's why 1 by 2 is a bounded value. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and can you identify whether this system is BIBO or not? Bounded input, bounded output, stable or not?
It's stable, ma'am.
It is BIBO? BIBO stable?
Yes, ma'am.
Bounded input. Ma'am.
Okay, so what is the definition of bounded input, bounded output stability? So bounded input, bounded output stability says that output should remain bounded for all bounded input. Okay, and what is the criteria? How can we check it? If all the poles of the transfer function lies on the left half plane, then we say the system is pivot stable. Okay, so now for this question, can you find out the poles of this system?
Yes, ma'am.
Here is the
0 and minus
system.
2.
So the poles are s equals to 0 and minus 2.
Minus 2.
So are they on the left half plane of S plane?
Left half of the S plane, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
No,
0
they are
is at the
not on
origin,
the
ma'am.
left half plane. One pole is at the origin and the other is on the left half plane. So the condition is all the poles should lie on the left half plane.
Marginally stable.
So this system is not satisfying this criteria. So this one is not bounded input, bounded output stable. It is not Weibull stable. Another way you can guess this is that for this system, suppose you have given a step input. Okay. So in case of step input, so by checking poles also you can check whether the system is Weibull stable or not. Another way to visualize it, suppose US is step input, that is 1 by S. Okay, then what will be by S? It will be 1 by S square S plus 2, right? Okay. Now what will be the poles? S will be 0, 0, -2. Okay. So we have two repeated poles at the origin. So the response of this system will be unbounded, or it will not be stable. So we have identified one input which can make this system unstable. So if we are able to find any one input that will make the system unstable or unbounded, then that system will not be Bibo stable. Okay. Any confusion, anyone? Okay.
What's U of S, clearly?
Sorry.
Once again, explain.
I'm not getting you. Can you please repeat?
Can you explain once again?
Acha, okay. So for this question, first we calculated the transfer function of it, and then I asked you to calculate the impulse response. Okay, so the impulse response of this system looks like this. So for impulse input, it may seem that the output or the response remains bounded. Okay, but that doesn't mean the system is Bibo stable, because for Bibo stability the response should be bounded for all the inputs. Okay, so for impulse input it is fine, the response is bounded, but if I have given the input as a step, then we have seen that we have repeated poles at the origin, and any repeated poles on the imaginary axis or the y-axis will make the system unstable. Okay, so this you must have seen in the video lectures. So we have identified one input that can make the system unstable, so that is why we are saying this system is not Bibo stable. Another way to check is to check the roots of the transfer function. Okay, so if the roots or the poles of the transfer function are lying on the left half plane, is strictly on the left half plane, then we say that the system is Bibo stable. So for this system, one pole is on the left half plane, that is -2, but the other pole is at the origin, which is not on the left half plane. So this system is not Bibo stable. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now this is a very basic question. So the order of numerator polynomial is, fill in the blanks, the order of denominator polynomial in a strictly proper transfer function. So this is just based on the definition
Less
of a strictly,
than 10.
yes, so the answer is less than. And if we remove the term strictly, then what should be the condition?
Less than or equal to.
Less than or equal to. Okay. Now in this question you have to find the poles. What are the poles of this system? So let's solve it. So again we will first find the Laplace transform with zero initial condition. So we will directly assume that the initial conditions are zero. In that case, the Laplace of this will be, sorry, s square ys plus 2sys minus 3ys equals to s square us plus 5s us plus 4us. Now for transfer function, we have to divide output by input.
We are not taking initial conditions. No?
No, the initial conditions are assumed to be zero. That is the definition of transfer function. We have to
Okay.
consider all initial conditions are zero. So 5s plus 4 divided by, okay, so this is the transfer function of this system. Now can you identify the poles?
And poles are 1 and minus 3.
1 and minus 3, okay.
Or else -3 only, ma'am.
Okay, and what are the zeros?
Zeros, 4 and 4 only, ma'am.
Only 4?
4,
And
4
minus
and
1 and
1.
minus 4.
Okay, so to find out the poles, we have to solve for denominator equals to 0, okay, and then we can write it as 3s minus 3. Then we can take common, so s minus 1 and s plus 3 equals to 0. So poles are s equals to 1 comma minus 3, right? And similarly for zeros, 5s plus 4, we can write it as 4s plus, so the zeros of this system are, now can you identify? S equals to
-4 and -1.
minus 1 and minus 4, yes. And can you comment on this stability, whether it is Weber stable or not?
No, I'm not stable.
No, ma'am.
Yes, because we have one
One pole
pole
is
on the right hand side, that is 1. So this system is not Weber stable, okay. Any doubt, anyone? Okay. So for this system, you have to find out the unit step response, the steady state value, and the coefficients of e to the power minus t and e to the power 2t. Okay. So try this question.
And here we have to assume that initial conditions are 0.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So as always, we will first find out the Laplace transform. So for y double dot minus y dot minus 2y equals to u, we can write the Laplace as s square y minus sy minus 2y equals to u, and y by u will be 1 divided by s square minus s minus 2. So is it the unit step response? So this is the transfer function of the system. It is not the unit step response. For unit step response, we have to put u equals to 1 by s because we are given step input. So the Laplace of step input is 1 by s. So y will be 1 by s square minus s minus 2. Okay. Now find out its response, that is in time domain. So for that, just find out the inverse of y of s.
Now, steady state value is -1.
Okay.
Coefficient of e to the power minus t is 1 by 3.
Steady
Coefficient.
state value is -1.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Coefficient of
Please check it again.
uh,
It is not -1. Okay, let's solve it. So we have to find the inverse Laplace of this ys. So we can first write this as, what will be the poles of this Laplace transform?
1 minus 1
-1 and 2. 0,
and 0.
-1 and 2. So we can write it as s plus 1 and s minus 2. Okay. And then we can do the partial fraction to find out a, b and c. Okay. Now are you all able to find these coefficients a, b and c? Is there any problem in finding out the coefficients?
a is -1 by 2.
So to find out a, you just have to multiply this transfer function with s. Okay, whatever we have in the denominator, and then put s equals to 0. So that will give you -1 by 2. And similarly, what will be b? Multiply
1
with
by
s
3.
plus 1 and put s equals to -1. Okay. So it will be 1 by 3. Now similarly, what will be c?
1 by 6.
1 by 6. Okay. So how we are solving it? Let me just... So what I am saying is, for a, you have to multiply with s and then put s equals to 0. So this will cancel out and this will give you -1 by 2. Similarly for b, you have to multiply with s plus 1 and solve it for s equals to -1. -1 because it is 0 at -1, and why here 0? Because it is 0 at s equals to 0. So this will cancel out and it will give you 3. And for c, similarly, multiply with s minus 2 and solve it for 2. So this will give you 1 by 6. Okay, so that's how we are calculating the coefficients. Now with the coefficients, this function will become what? This will become, this ys will become minus 1 by 2s plus 1 by 3s plus 1 and 1 by 6s minus 2. Okay, now find out the inverse Laplace of this. Now it is very easy. What is the inverse Laplace of 1 by s?
1.
Just 1. And we have the factor minus 1 by 2, so multiplied with minus 1 by 2. What about this term?
1 by 3 into e power minus t.
Okay, what about this?
1 by 6 into e power minus 2t.
No, we have s minus 2 here, so it will be 2t only, na?
Yeah.
Okay, because Laplace of e to the power at ft is Laplace of fs minus a. Okay, we have to shift it with minus a if there is a. So that's why if there is minus t, minus 1 here, then it is shifted with minus 1, it is s plus 1. Okay, so please keep in mind while doing the inverse Laplace. Okay, so now can you tell me what will be the steady state value?
Minus 1 by 2.
Minus 1 by 2.
No. Please see it carefully. Steady state value is, to calculate steady state value,
No, I mean infinity. The last time we
yes,
will go to
steady
infinity.
state value is when t goes to infinity, right? So for yt, if we put t equals to infinity, we will get 1 by 3 minus infinity and 1 by 6, 2 into infinity. So this term will go to 0, this will remain as it is, and what about this term? This will blow up, okay? Because e to the power infinity will be infinity. So this term will go to infinity. So whatever term is there in addition, it has no value in front of it because this term is infinity. So yt as t goes to infinity will be what? Infinity. So what is the steady state value? Infinite.
Infinite.
Okay. So and what are the coefficient? What is the coefficient of e to the power minus t?
1 by 3.
1 by 3. And what about coefficient of e to the power 2t?
1 by 6.
Yes. Okay. So uh, please check it carefully while calculating the steady state value or the um, response of the system. These plus minus signs sometimes play a major role. Okay, so now coming to question 6, you have to find the step response and the constant term in the output function of this dynamical system. Okay, first find out the step response.
What step response, ma'am?
Sorry?
What is a step response, ma'am?
Step response means you have to find the response of the system when input is an step input. Means that if we apply ut as a function which is 1 for all t, whose value is 1 for all the time, such input is called step input. And the Laplace of such input is just 1 by s. So for this input we have to find the response.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, very simple. Sorry. We have to calculate the Laplace transform again with zero initial condition. This will give us the transfer function. Okay, and now we have to consider we have to find step response, so we will put us equals to 1 by s, which will give us ys as s into s square plus 2. Okay, now find the inverse Laplace of this function. So first we will do the partial fraction of ys as a by s plus bs plus c by s square plus 2. Okay, and now we will calculate a as 1 by s square plus 2 at s equals to 0, which will give us the value 1 by 2. And then how can we find b? We will solve for numerator, so this should be equal to 1 by s square plus 2, right? So we can take the common factor and then we can write the numerator in this form, and this should be equal to, okay, so here we can see the factor of s square is a, and here we can, sorry, as square plus 2a plus bs square plus cl should be equal to 1. Okay, so the coefficient of s square is a plus b here, and the coefficient of s square in the right hand side is 0, so a plus b should be equal to 0. So b will be equal to minus a, and a we have already calculated as half, so b will be equal to minus 1 by 2. Okay, and what about c? So here we can see the coefficient of s is c, but in the right hand side there is no s term, so the coefficient of s on the right hand side is 0, so c will directly be 0. So what will be the partial fraction? So ys can be written as a is 1 by 2, so 1 by 2s, b is minus 1 by 2, so minus 1 by 2 s square plus 2 because c is 0. So what is the inverse Laplace of ys?
1.
So it is just 1 by 2 and minus what will be the inverse Laplace of this term? Sorry, here will be s also because we have bs plus c and b is minus 1 by 2, so minus 1 by 2 s and c is 0. So this will be the partial fraction. So can you identify any function whose Laplace transform looks like this?
Cos function.
Yes. So
Cos
yes,
omega t.
yes, we know the Laplace of cos is s by s square plus omega square, right? So what is omega in this case? Omega is root
Root
2,
2.
right? Okay. So the inverse Laplace of this function overall is 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 cos root 2t. Okay. So what we need to calculate? We have to find the step response. Okay. So this is the step response. Yt is 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 cos root 2t. Okay. What was the other part? What is the constant term in the output function? So what is the constant term?
1 by 2.
Just 1 by 2. Okay, so this term is constant. This is not varying with time. So the constant term in the response is 1 by 2. Now comment on the Beaver stability. Is it Beaver stable?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it Beaver stable? So how to check the Beaver stability? I have already told you how to check it.
Calculate the poles of the transfer function.
Yes, calculate the poles of the transfer function. So this was the transfer function, right? What are the poles of this transfer function?
0 and minus 2.
Is it so? So to calculate the poles, we have to set denominator as 0. Okay, so the denominator of the transfer function is s square plus 2. Okay, so s square plus 2 equals to 0 means that s square is minus 2, right? So s will be,
Imaginary.
yes, s will be plus minus I times of under root 2. Okay, so the poles are on the imaginary axis, right? It is I root 2 and minus I root 2. Okay, so is this lying on the left half plane?
No.
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 So this is not Beebo stable, right? Even though you may, it may seem that the output is bounded, okay? But the output is bounded for which input? What input we have
Unit step.
provided? Unit step. So for this particular input, it may seem that it the response is bounded, okay? But the Beaver stability says that the output should remain bounded for all the bounded input. So is this the only bounded input that we can give to the system? No. Okay. Let's suppose we have given the input as this cos root 2t. This is also a bounded input, right? what I am saying is, suppose this is my transfer function 1 by s square plus 2. Okay, now I am saying you provide ut as cos root 2t. So what will be the what will the Laplace transform of this input? It will be same, s square plus 2, right? For ut equals to cos root 2t. Okay, then what will be ys in that case? It will be s by s square plus 2 whole square. Okay, I have provided bounded input. Yes, I have provided, instead of step input, I have provided another bounded input which is not step but sinusoidal. It is cos root 2t. So to find the response for this input, I have given u as the Laplace of this input cos root 2t, which is s by s square plus 2. Then in that case, ys will be s by s square plus 2 whole square, right? Now can you find out the poles of this transfer function, of this response ys?
Ma'am, now this function should be called output function, no? It cannot be
Yes,
called
yes.
transfer function.
No, no, no. Yes, yes. This is the response I am saying. What will be the poles of ys? It is same, plus minus I root 2, but with multiplicity 2. We have repeated poles. So we have 4 poles in total. So we have repeated poles at I root 2 and we have repeated poles at minus I root 2. Okay. So total we have I root 2 comma I root 2 minus I root 2 and minus I root 2. Okay. So total 4 poles, and which are repeated. So if we have any repeated poles on the imaginary axis, then the system becomes unstable. Okay. So even though it was bounded for step input, but it will not be bounded for this cos root 2t input. Okay, so we have identified one input which can make the system unbounded. So that's why the system is not Beaver stable. Okay, and the best way to check is to find the poles of the transfer function. If any one pole is not on the left half plane, then the system is not Beaver stable. Okay. Now based on this concept, so you are given a system and you have to find out the input which can make this system, which can make the response of this system unbounded. So find the input for which the output of this system is unbounded. So if you have understood the previous question, you will be able to solve this one.
We should take unit step response. No?
No, you have to find out the input for which this system will be unbounded. The response of this system will be unbounded. You have to identify that particular input.
Ma'am, sine 2t.
Sine 2t. Okay, we will check if this is the right answer or not. So let's solve it. Okay, so first we will find out the transfer function, which will be y by u equals to 1 by s square plus 4. Okay, similar to previous question, we can check from here by putting s square plus 4 equals to 0 that the roots are plus minus 2 2j, right? So the poles of the transfer function are lying on the imaginary axis. They are not on the left half plane, so we are sure that the system is not Biot stable. So the question is right. There exists an input which can make the output of the system unbounded, right? There exists a bounded input. So how to identify that particular input? So for that, we know the concept that if there is a repeated pole on the imaginary axis, then that would make the system response unbounded. Okay, so I was saying that we know the concept that if there exist repeated poles on the imaginary axis, it will make the response of the system unbounded. Okay, so we have poles of the transfer function lying on the imaginary axis, but they are only one pair. How can we make these poles repeated?
By squaring.
Yes. So if this denominator is squared, then the poles will be repeated. So there is the answer. We have to find such u whose transfer function is, whose Laplace transform looks like what? 1 by s square plus 4, or numerator can be anything, but denominator looks like this. Okay. If such an input is given to the system, then ys will be n by s square plus 4 whole square. So it will make the poles repeated, that is the poles at the imaginary axis repeated, and thus the response will be unbounded. So we have identified the type of input that could do this, but we have to find the answer in the time domain. Okay, now can we find the inverse Laplace of this function? It, if n is equal to let's suppose whatever it is, it will have the form of a sine 2t, or it can have the form of a cos 2t, right? Because we know that for sine and cos, the Laplace transform looks like, denominator it will always have s square plus omega square. So omega here is 2. So the function could be sine 2t or cos 2t with any factor, right? This is just for scaling. So in options we are given what? 1. So 1 means step input. So can step input make the system unbounded? Anyone?
No.
No,
No, ma'am.
because if step input is given, then the poles will be at 0, plus 2j and minus 2j. There are no repeated poles, and there are no poles on the right hand side. So the response will remain bounded. It will not go to infinity. What about sine 2t? Yes, we have identified that sine 2t can make the system Unbounded, because it will create repeated poles on the imaginary axis. So sine 2t is an option. What about cos 4t?
No.
No, because the Laplace of cos 4t will be s by s square plus 16, right? So it will give extra pole on plus 4j and minus 4j. And we have, naturally we have poles at plus 2j and minus 2j, and it will create poles at 4j and minus 4j. So these are not repeated, right? So the system will be marginally stable in this case also. So cos 4t will not make it unbounded. What about sin t?
No, ma'am.
Say it will also not make it unbounded. So sin 2t or cos 2t will make the system unbounded. Okay, so for sometimes you will be given options as sin 2t and other as cos 2t. So there will be multiple choice questions. So in that case you have to take care that you have to consider both the inputs, right? Okay, and a direct way to check is that you just check what is the frequency of the transfer function and the input that matches this frequency. So here the frequency is, so this is 2 square, right? Omega is 2, that is why it is 4. So 2 matches the frequency sin 2t. So here omega is 2 and here also omega is 2, right? So the trick is to identify the frequency which is there in the system, and that input will make the system unbounded. Okay, now do the same for this question. Identify the input for which the output would be unbounded. Y double dot plus 2y dot equals to ut.
Option 1. A.
A. Okay. How many of you are able to understand this concept? Is there anyone who is facing problem or any confusion?
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Ma'am, kindly explain the previous question. In previous question, where you just squared 1 by a square plus 4, you just squared things. I don't get it. Didn't get it. Just square thing.
The frequency square or that square, that s square plus 4 whole square thing you are asking?
Yes, ma'am. A square plus 4 whole square 1.
Okay, okay, okay. So what I was saying is, okay, when we have poles on the imaginary axis, right, explicitly on the imaginary axis, then we know that the response will be unbounded when there are repeated poles on the imaginary axis, right? So here in the transfer function, the poles, we have a single pair of pole, that is at 2j minus 2j. So we know that complex poles always occur in pair, one at plus j and minus j. So we have plus 2j and minus 2j. Okay, now to make it repeated, we have to find the input which can make it unbounded, right? So we know that if we are able to repeat the pole at this particular location, then that response will be unbounded. Okay, so that is why in order to repeat the pole at this particular location, we have considered squaring it, because if you find the poles of this transfer function, it will be at plus 2j, again plus 2j, minus 2j, and again minus 2j, right? So we have repeated poles at plus 2j and minus 2j. Okay, so
Okay, ma'am.
for this ys will be unbounded. Okay, so to generate this ys, what us we need to provide? We can provide us as 1 by s square plus 4, right? Because if we put us equals to 1 by s square plus 4, we will get y equals to 1 by s square plus 4 whole square. Or we can also provide us as s by s square plus 4. This will also give us ys equals to s by s square plus 4 whole square. Again we will be getting repeated poles, right? We deliberately want the poles to get repeated so that we can identify the input which is given this repeated kind of thing. Are you able to understand now why we are doing this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now try this question. So, okay, let's solve it.
Ma'am, B option.
Cos root 2t.
Yes.
Okay, okay, let's check. So we have 2sy equals to u, and y by u equals to 1 by s square plus 2s. So this is the transfer function. Okay, and this transfer function can be written as, by taking s as common, 1 by s into s plus 2. So the poles of the transfer function are at
0 comma minus 2.
0 and minus 2. So one pole is on the left half plane, that is good for stability, and the another pole is at the origin, right? And we need to identify the input that would make the system unbounded. So using the same logic that we have used for our previous question, what can we do in this question?
Square of denominator.
If we repeat the pole at the origin, because origin also lies on the y-axis, right? If any pole is repeated on the imaginary axis, on the y-axis, the system will become unstable, or the response will become unbounded. So one pole we have on the left half plane. If we repeat the pole on the left half plane, it will drive me towards stability or instability?
Stability.
Stability. So there is no need to repeat pole at minus 2. It will make the system more stable, right? And what if I repeat the pole at origin?
System will go unstable.
It will be unstable. So for this system, how can we repeat the pole at origin? if we are able to make our y like this, so for this case the poles will be at 0, 0 and -2, unbounded, right? So to make y, what u we need to take?
1.
So if we take us as 1 by s, then my ys will be same like what we require, right? So if we put us equals to 1 by s, ys will be 1 by s square s plus 2, whose pole are lying on the value s equals to 0, 0 and -2. So we have two repeated poles at the origin, so this response will be unbounded. So which option is correct? Option A, because in time domain ut is written as 1. Okay. What about option 2? Cos root 2t. It will give us poles at plus minus root 2j. Okay. So there are no repeated poles. So we will be have one pole at the origin, another at -2 and another at plus minus root 2j. So there are no repeated poles. So this option will not make the system unbounded. What about sin 2t? Similar thing. What about cos 2t? Similar thing. Okay. So in this case, A option is correct. How many of you were able to solve it? Okay. Any doubt? Okay. So again, for this system, find the input for which the response of the system will be unbounded. So let's start by finding out the transfer function. So we need to put all initial condition to 0, so we can directly write as s की power 4ys plus 4s square ys plus 4ys equals to us. So y by u we can write s की power 4 plus 4s square plus 4. Okay. So what are the poles of the transfer function?
Less and minus root 2i.
Plus or minus root 2i. Okay. So we'll factorize it as s square. Okay, let's do it like this. Okay, we can write it like this. Then we can take common. this is 4, can take common as s square plus 2 and plus 2 s square plus 2, right? So y by u is 1 by s square plus 2 का whole square. Okay, so the transfer function is 1 by s square plus 2 whole square. Now where are the poles located? So we need to solve s square plus 2 whole square equals to 0 to find out the poles. Then we get s square plus 2 equals to 0. So s will be plus minus root 2j. Only plus minus root 2j?
No, it will be repeated.
Repeated. So another pair of root 2j because we had square here, right? So we have repeated poles on the imaginary axis. We have repeated poles on the imaginary axis. So this system is,
Unbounded for any input.
yes, unbounded for any bounded input, right? Because this is not Bevo stable because we have repeated poles on the imaginary axis, right? So which option is correct among these?
C.
So option A says ut equals to 1. So yes, step input will also make this system unbounded because whatever be the input, the response will always be unbounded because we have repeated poles on the imaginary axis of the transfer function. So if we give step input, or if we give cos 2t, or if we give cos 4t, any bounded input will make the system unbounded. So the option C is correct. Okay, for this dynamical system, you have to find out the poles. Okay, so for this question, again we will find the transfer function. So 4 times derivative of y, so Laplace will be s की power 4, 6 into s की power 3y with initial condition 0, 12 into s square y plus 10 into sy plus 3y equals to u, and y by u will be 1 divided by s की power 4, 6s cube, 12s square, 10s plus 3. Okay, so to find out the poles, we have to find out this equals to 0, right? So by looking at this polynomial, it may not be easy to find out the roots of this polynomial. Okay, so we will take the help of what is given in the question. So it is given that the poles must be -1 and -3. So we will factorize it on that basis. So first, there exists a pole of -1. So we will factorize it like s की power 4 plus s cube, and then 5s cube plus 5s square plus 7s square and plus 7s plus 3s plus 3 equals to 0. Okay, so this I have done such that in every one I can take s plus 1 as common, because that will give s equals to -1 as the pole. So we can take now common as s plus 1 s plus 1, s plus 1, and again s plus 1 equals to 0. Okay, so s plus 1 will be common, and then we will be left with s cube, 5s square, 7s, and 3 equals to 0. So we have one pole at s equals to minus 1 till now. Then we need to solve this term. So to solve that equals to 0, again if we put s equals to minus 1, we see that this term is 0, right? If we put s equals to minus 1 over here, we see that this polynomial is 0. So again we know that minus 1 is again the pole. So again we will factorize it like s square plus 4s square plus 4s plus 3s plus 3 equals to 0, right? Again we will take common, square plus 4s plus 3 equals to 0. Okay, now we are left with this polynomial. Now again if you put s equals to minus 1, you will see that this term is 0. Okay, and now this term is easy to factorize because this is just a second order polynomial. So we have s plus 3 and s plus 3. Okay, so s plus 1 and s plus 3. So what are the factors of this polynomial? We have s plus 1 into s plus 1 into s plus 1 into s plus 3 equals to 0, which can be written as s plus 1 की power 3 into s plus 3 equals to 0. So what are the poles? The poles are s equals to minus 1 and s equals to minus 3, and the pole at minus 1 s equals to minus 1 has the multiplicity of 3,
3.
right? And the pole at s equals to minus 3 has multiplicity of 1. Okay, so which option is correct? The multiplicity
3.
of minus 1 is 3 and multiplicity of minus 3 is 1. So option B is correct. So all the options are same, C and D. So maybe I have incorrectly written these options. There must be something else. Okay. Now there is another question. So for this expression, so in this question we have 4 expression which are the impulse and step response of some system, right? Now among these you have to identify which one are the step and impulse response of same system. Are you able to get my question? You are given with step and impulse response of some system, right? You have to identify which among these correspond to the step and impulse response of the same system. Try this question. before attempting this question, what we know is that the transfer function is nothing but the impulse response of system, right? So for any transfer function g of s, impulse response, if I denote it as ys, it will be same as the transfer function. And what is the step response? If the transfer function is g of s, then the step response will be
G of S by S.
g of s by s. Okay, so the impulse response is gs and step response is gs by s. So in Laplace they have the relation of same transfer function divided by s. What can we relate this? How can we relate this in time domain? How can we get impulse response from the step response? So to get impulse response from the step response, we need to multiply the step response with s, right? Because if I multiply gs by s with s, I will get what? Impulse response. And multiplication of s in Laplace is equivalent to
Differentiation.
differentiation, right? So how these two are related in time domain? We can say impulse response is what? d by dt, or differentiation, we can say differentiation of step response. Okay, so for this question, let's take the first one. Okay, so we have 5 minus 4 e to the power minus 2t into ut. So this is some response. We don't know what response it is. We will start by differentiating this response. Okay, so if we find the d by dt of this term, so we have to differentiate 5 of ut. 5 of ut will be, what will be the derivative of 5 of ut? It will be 5 into delta t, because differentiation of step is impulse. Okay, so let's do it in parts. So first, d by dt of 5 ut, so it will be 5 delta t, and then d by dt of 4 e to the power minus 2t into ut, so it will be d by dt of 4 e to the power minus 2t into ut, and plus 4 e to the minus 2t d by dt of ut, right? So this will be ut into minus a to the minus 2t. Okay, and what will be the derivative of this? Delta t, and t naught is 0, So what is the value of this derivative? It is ut minus 8 e to the minus 2t plus, we have to evaluate this function at t equals to 0 because we are multiplying with the impulse function. So at t equals to 0 this will be 1, so it is just 4 delta t, right? So what is the overall differentiation of this function? D by dt, if I call it as ft, so d by dt of ft is 5 delta t minus minus plus, so it is 8 e to the power minus 2t ut minus 4 delta t. So 5 delta t minus 4 delta t will be delta t plus 8 e to the power minus 2t ut. Okay. Now let's see if this term matches any option. So yes, option, this third term is exactly what we have achieved, delta t plus 8 into e to the minus 2t ut. Okay. So if we differentiated this one, this response, we are getting this response, means what? This is the impulse response, this one is the impulse response of same system. There was a system, so this one is the step response and this one is the impulse response of same system. So which option is correct among these?
First one.
First one, yes. Okay, are you able to understand this thing? How we check if the step or impulse response is of the same system? We need to differentiate and then check. If we getting same as given in the options, then we can easily verify that these are the step and impulse response of the same system. Okay. Okay, so another question is, you have to find the transfer function of this state equation. So we are given x dot as 2x plus 2u and we are given output as 0.5 ut and we have to find out the transfer function of y by u. So how to do that? First we will find out the Laplace of this differential equation. So it will be s into x of s equals to minus 2xs plus 2us, right? So x of s divided by us will be what? It will be 2 by s plus 2. Okay. And now if I find the Laplace of this, it will be ys equals to 0.5 into xs, right? So y and x are related by this relation, so we can directly put x s as 2 times of ys. So in place of xs we can put 2 times of ys divided by us equals to 2 by s plus 2. So 2 will cancel out, so y by u will be 1 by s plus 2. So which option is correct? The transfer function of y by u is given by 1 by s plus 2. So the correct option is D. Okay. So in this question you have to find out whether the system is stable, marginally stable, unstable, or it has oscillatory response. So this question you will be able to solve after week 3, in week 3. So we will leave this question for now, or you can try this as a homework. So you can note it if you want.
Okay, ma'am. We have taken the screenshot.
Okay. So this is very easy one. You have to find out the roots which are lying on the left half plane for this characteristic polynomial. How many roots are on the left half plane? So everyone please try this one. So it is very easy. We don't have to do much in this question. We can just start by factorizing it. So any one of you have solved this? Okay, so we can factorize this one as, so by, in a first glimpse, by putting s equals to -1, we see that this -1 cube plus 5 minus 7 plus 3, this goes to 0. So one root we know that s equals to -1 is one of the roots. So one of the factor is s plus 1. So based on this, we will start factorizing this. So it is 4s square plus s square plus s plus 6s. Mistake I have done. This 7s okay, sorry. So it is s cube plus s square plus 4s square plus 4s plus 3s plus 3 equals to 0. Based on the factor s plus 1, we have tried to pull out s plus 1 as the factor. So this will give us s plus 1, s plus 1 and s plus 1, right? So we pulled out s plus 1 and left with s square plus 4s plus 3 equals to 0, right? Now when you learn about Routh-Hurwitz's criteria, then you will be able to solve this problem very easily without these factorization. But till now we have not read this concept, so we will try to find out using the factorization method. So now for this one, we can very easily write it as 3s plus s plus 3 equals to 0. So from here, the factors will be s plus 3 and s plus 1. So the poles are at -1, -1 and -3. So the question asked about number of roots in the left half plane. So how many roots are in the left half plane? The answer is
3.
3. Okay. So how many questions are left? So 2 questions. Okay. So this is the second last question. For this control system, which is represented by this differential equation with C as the output and R is the input, and we are exciting this system using the step input. So R is step. Then the response of this system will be similar to which graph you have to identify. Which plot resembles the response of this system when it is excited by the step input? So similar to other questions, we will first find the transfer function. So it is 16 s square c of s minus 8 s c of s plus cs equals to rs. So the transfer function cs by rs will be equal to 1 by 16 s square minus 8s plus 1. Okay, and we are exciting it with step input. So r of s is equal to 1 by s, right? So cs will be equal to 1 by s into 16 s square minus 8s plus 1. Okay,
Hmm, can we check the transfer poles of the transfer function, man? If they lie in the stable region or not?
so where are the poles of the transfer function?
Mm, plus 1 by 4.
Plus 1 by,
4.
so the poles of the transfer function are lying on the,
Right hand side
and
of the
both the poles are on the right hand side. Okay, so for any bounded input the response will be
unbounded.
unbounded. So here we are providing step input, so it is one of the bounded input. So whatever bounded input we provide, the response will always be unbounded. Okay, is this clear to everybody? So if the response is unbounded, so which plot shows the unbounded response?
Last one.
Last one, because in the first option A, the response is decaying towards some value. It is not going unbounded. In the second one also, it is shooting up, but it is settling to some value. So it is bounded. It is not going to infinity. In the third case also, it is oscillatory, but it is settling to some value. It is not going to infinity. It is also bounded, right? But in the last option, we can see that the response starts to grow and it continue to grow to some infinity values, right? So which option is correct? Option D is the correct one. So for any question, if we need to find out the response. First we find out the transfer function, then we check the poles. If any one pole is on the right hand side, then we are sure that whatever bounded input we provide, the response will be unbounded. So for this case also, we don't need to calculate the inverse Laplace or time response of this system. We just check the poles, and we got two poles on the right hand side. So that means the system is unstable for whatever input we provide. Okay. Okay, now for this question, you have to identify one bounded input. So this is the last question of this session. So find out any one bounded input so that the response of the system is unbounded. So this question is a summary of all the questions that we have done. So please try it and see if you are able to find out the solution of this problem. First tell me whether this system is Peebo stable or not. If it is Peebo stable, then we will not be able to find any bounded input that would make this response unbounded. Okay, so first we have to check whether it is Peebo stable or not. If it is not Peebo stable, then only we can identify any one bounded input that will make the system response unbounded. Okay, so first we have to check Peebo stability. So how we check Peebo stability? By finding out the poles of the transfer function. So where are the poles of this transfer function? It is not clearly visible like this, so we will factorize it. So by factorizing the denominator, we will get s square plus 4 and s square plus 1. Sorry, s, it is s plus 4 and s square plus 1. Okay. So where are the poles of this transfer function? The poles are at s equals to -4 and plus j and minus j. So we have one pole on the left hand side and a pair of pole on the imaginary axis, right? So this system is Peebo stable. Is it Peebo stable?
It is marginally stable.
So it is Peebo stable or not, I'm asking. If you have an option where you have to tick
No.
one option, yes or no, then
No.
No, no, ma'am.
No.
no. Yes, it is not Peebo stable because for Peebo stability, all the poles should lie on the left half plane. Okay. But in this case, we have only one pole on the left half plane. Another two are on the imaginary axis. So this is not Peebo stable. Okay. So we have checked that this is not Peebo stable. That means there exists an input. There exists one bounded input, at least one bounded input that will make the response of the system unbounded. Okay, now can you identify any one bounded input?
Sin t.
Sin t. How you identified it? In order to make the response unstable, we would identify that one input which can make repeated poles on the imaginary axis, right? So in order to make repeated poles, we can have input of the form, we have imaginary poles located at plus minus j, that is frequency is 1. So us we can take s square plus 1, or we can take s by s square plus 1, and with any factor. It can have a here also, here also, any scalar multiple of these two functions, right? So this is the transfer function for this is the Laplace transform of a sin t, and this is the transfer function of a cos t. Okay, so any one of these input will make the response of this system unbounded. Another way to identify is we have to select sinusoidal sine or cos input whose frequency matches the frequency of the transfer function, right? So the frequency of the transfer function, not the frequency of the transfer function, but that one pole which are on the imaginary axis. So the frequency is 1. Okay, so any sinusoidal input whose frequency is 1 will make the response unbounded. So the answer could be any factor sin t and any factor cos t. So one choice could be sin t, okay, or cos t, or it can be 2 sin t, anything, but it should be sin t or cos t, right? Okay, so there was one comment. Okay, so these are all for the today's session. So Beebo stability means, in summary we can say that the system is Beebo stable if response of the system is bounded for any bounded input, right? And when we say the system is unstable, if response of system is unbounded for the given input, then the system is called unstable. Okay, so till now we have considered these two concepts. So for Beebo stability, the criteria is to check the poles of transfer function. If they lie on the left half plane, we conclude that the system is Beebo stable. Okay, if it is not, then we say that the system is not Beebo stable. It can be marginally
Hello,
stable,
ma'am.
it can be unstable. Yes.
Ma'am, for Vivo, all poles have to be need to be lie on the left hand plane, or two or three if present in left hand and one or two in right hand. Then it is
No,
also
no, no, no.
Vivo for.
No. For Beebo stability, all the poles should lie on the left half plane. All the poles. If any one pole is on the imaginary or at the origin or on the right hand plane, we cannot say that the system is Beebo stable. It can be marginally stable or it can be unstable, but it cannot be Beebo stable. For Beebo stability, all the poles should lie on LHP, left half plane. Okay? Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that's all in today's session. If you have any question, you can ask, or we will meet in next week.